All right. Good Monday morning. It is March. We made it to March.
Yep.
I can't believe we're going to be talking about ending first quarter soon.
Winding it down.
I'm still if I still wrote checks, I would be writing 2024 on my checks. But here we are at the Dev Talk Show with my co-host Rich Ross. How is your Monday going?
Going well. It's good. It's off to a good start. It's nice and sunny out there. I'm happy. And it is
That's
March.
right. It is.
Should be getting ourselves out of the cold, I think, as a result. So I hope.
Yeah, I just think it's crazy that it's March already. That's the thing that's got me.
And I'll drop a link in the chat. But one thing I do want to mention, we have, although it's March and the Tech Bash conference is not until October, they have opened their call for speakers. So if you are interested in joining the folks in the Poconos for the week or for a few days in October, because October 13th to 16th, and have some interesting things to, well, certainly if you want to join them and be there as an attendee, go sign up. But if you want to be a speaker, the call for speakers goes until the end of March, until March 31st. So we'll drop a link to that in the chat, and you can put your topic in there and hopefully be accepted as a speaker.
Yeah, and it's a great experience. I've done it a couple times. The Kalahari up in the Poconos is great.
Yes. Yeah, it is a great place.
That's a lot of fun. And so the show, let's see, the conference is, I want to say that it's like Thursday through Saturday. So the pro tip is, if you can, obviously, look, we all have like our responsibilities and can't just take off a ton of time. But if you can, and you get there Wednesday, then definitely go enjoy the water park Wednesday, Thursday. You will have it to yourself.
Yeah.
And then Friday, people start rolling in, even though it is later in the year. So it's not like packed like summer, but people do start rolling in. And then,
I mean, the cool thing about the water park there is it's all indoors. So it doesn't matter.
Oh, yeah.
30 degrees outside.
Yeah. So the experience is not, okay, it's cold. So I guess to your point, the experience is not that it's cold and I'm huddled outside waiting to get on a water slide. That ain't it at all.
No.
It's just that Friday night, Saturday night, if you're still there for Tech Bash, it is much more crowded.
Yep.
The other tip is that right across the street, there's a mini golf and zip line place that people don't seem to brave as much. So we did it and kind of had the place to ourselves and rode the zip line, and it was fun. Yeah. My daughter was there with me that on that trip. So
very cool.
All right. So, hey, we have kind of a short show today. Thank you for joining us, whether you're watching now or in the future. And what we're going to do is, we might as well just get right to it, is I'm going to go ahead and let's see, set the stage here. There we go. All right. It moved us to the corners and everything. So what I'm actually showing here is, this is from the video that we've referenced many times. Building a pizza ordering agent with Foundry and MCP, meaning Model Context Protocol. And I'm just showing the video that was done by Gustavo Cordido, his video, his demo of just in 1 hour built this whole thing using Python in code spaces. And this just happens to be, he's ordering with the agent, and then the website that shows the orders is all there. If you want to do the same lab, that is available. But what we are doing on this show is we are translating it to C#. And some folks who've been with us a while probably know that we started on this. Actually, we might have started it in late 2025, but then navigating changes to the libraries, because they move awfully fast, and my own and your own outside commitments, because the show is a side project. It's not, it's not actually going to work. Yeah. Here we are. We have an implementation that works, and in here you will find a solution and 2 projects. This is not mirroring the same structure as the workshop. We'd like to do that in the future, but I think that where we landed is interesting for people.
Mm-hmm.
So what I want to do is, if you think this makes sense, is we can look at this code.
Okay.
We used this code last time. And
Yeah.
some of the people who joined us said, like, hey, where's the code? And it wasn't up in GitHub yet. So let me, I'm just going to close all tabs. And in our solution, we have 2 projects that I want to concentrate on. The Pizzabot that creates the Foundry agent, the agent in Microsoft Foundry before it runs it and you can interact with it. And Pizzabot, this is the thing I think is interesting. Once you've done that, you could choose to have your code just use the agent without creating and declaring it.
Right.
And that's, if that doesn't make any sense to you, then hopefully it does after we talk through it. So first of all, create Foundry agent. I'm in Visual Studio today. I don't remember if last time I was in Visual Studio Code.
You were.
Yeah. And for folks who maybe I intentionally try to make sure things work in both and even switch back. And sometimes we bring up Linux. And it's just because .NET runs everywhere. And I think I like to show that, hey, if you're watching and you say, hey, I'm on a Mac, that's okay. I'm on Linux. I like using a terminal in Linux. Great. You're awesome. You're covered.
Yeah.
So if I look at the project file, I would say this was the key NuGet package that was added, was Azure AI projects. I hopefully I'm not using this terminology wrong, but I sort of see this as it's like the Foundry SDK, Microsoft Foundry SDK.
Yes. Yeah, AI projects, I would say that's correct.
And then the rest of this stuff is just here so that when you pull the code down, you can go use an app settings file if you want, use environment variables. If you really don't want to use user secrets, doesn't matter, knock yourself out, and you can configure for your own Foundry setup.
Yeah.
So before you even start using Create Foundry Agent, and this is all in the workshop. Oh, it's making me sign in. Okay. So let's see if that's, I'm going to bring that off stage just in case it's making me do, and it didn't. So I can just bring it right back.
Cool.
So that was nice. Before you even start, you need a project. Now I've done this a few times. So the project that matters is this one. This is the one that this is the one that I happen to be using today. You're going to need this project endpoint. If you want, you can use a project API key. I chose not to, and neither does the workshop, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Partially for the reason that I don't accidentally commit or show on screen or whatever this project API key, and then I'd probably feel compelled to want to tear it all down.
Yeah, and I will also say more and more, the customers we talk to are blocking API keys by policy and forcing people to use the default Azure credentials or the Azure credentials to do the authentication.
Right. And so is it correct for me to say I actually had to use RBAC? Oh no, it probably wasn't RBAC. It was permissions though in Azure.
Ultimately that maps to an RBAC. So you will probably be an Azure AI project owner or a user or one of those in order to be able to do these things that you're doing here. Yes. I'll find the link in Azure in Microsoft Foundry that shows the different groups, because they all have different access levels.
Yeah. I think this is still true. I was going to try to find it here, that I think it's still true that the permission is called cognitive services accounts, AI services agents, right? But I know name changes are going on, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So in any case, let's get back to it.
The reason it's that permission is because if you go to the Azure CLI and try to modify or access the Microsoft Foundry or the Microsoft Foundry projects, you're using the AZ Cognitive Services account in order to see those settings or interact with those settings.
Yeah. And this is the new Foundry, by the way. And once you've set up the project endpoint and gotten this, and then deployed a model, which the workshop does walk you through, is you actually go and you deploy a base model. It's not that hard. I picked GPT-4o, which is what the workshop does, and then I didn't bother renaming it. So you could name it anything you want. I could name it Pizzabot GPT-4o, and then I guess if I did that, I could get some nice, maybe some billing of like, oh, the Pizzabot's doing more work. I don't know. I haven't explored that too deeply. But in any case, that is the base setup. We already knew that. So the Python workshop walks you through what we're about to walk through in code here. We did this a little bit last time, but I want to contrast it with the use existing agent project. So the purpose of this project creates the Foundry agent, which it actually does. If you haven't made any changes, it's not going to do anything. But if I make even a little bit of a change here, it's going to be like, okay, new version for that agent. And that's okay too. I am relying on configuration here. I don't really feel like anything is secret in this app because once again, I'm using I'm not using an API key. Mm-hmm. So the MCP server is public. This was provided by the workshop. We're going to try to create our own soon.
Okay.
Agent name is not, I don't feel like this stuff's a big deal. I do have the project endpoint and vector store ID sitting in a user secret, but I don't, like I said, they're not, we're going to see them in a second anyway. So, so that's the boring part, getting through the config. Once you're through the config and you have all this stuff ready to go, I am using, there's a lot of different clients here, so this can get confusing and even interesting to navigate. I'm using the Azure AI Projects AI project client where you supply the endpoint and then how do you want to log in? And what this is really saying is just use the default Azure credential on the machine and one of the high priority ones, or maybe it's not high priority, I don't know. I'm logged in with the AZ command line interface, the Azure CLI.
Right.
Because I'm logged in with that, this is getting picked up. I believe I could use a more specific one of these that's actually, there it is right there, Azure CLI credential. Yeah. I think if I use that, I'd get the same result. This is a little bit more generic. And I think if I understand correctly, Rich, I could take this code up to Azure, put it in a container, and that particular form of this agent's default Azure credential would be used.
Yes.
So there'd be no code change.
And that's the beauty of it, right?
Right.
You shouldn't have a set of code for development and have to
yeah,
do different
so
things.
I could do this.
You could,
but I kind of like this because maybe we'll put it in container apps or something soon.
Yep. Yeah, and there is, much like, remember many shows ago, we did a show on the configuration settings, and there's a hierarchy of which it looks through those. Same thing happens here with the default Azure credential.
Okay, awesome. So these Foundry agents have tools, and one of the ones is a function tool, which if you haven't joined us on the show before, a function tool is just, this is a declaration where I am telling the agent, hey, if the agent, through its use of the LLM, realizes the user is asking me about how much pizza to order for very hungry people or not so hungry people, I have been told that I have a function that I can call to get that information instead of my just guessing from my own model. I don't even want to say guessing. That's not really fair. Using what I've been trained about the world, I guess, for how hungry people are. No, I have a function. So we basically say, here's how to use that function. This is calling the MCP server. This is not calling. This is telling us how you will call the MCP server that happens to order pizza, tell you what menu prices are, things like that. That's provided by the workshop. We want to write our own. Basically translating it to .NET. And then we basically say, okay, there's one more piece, although it's not quite super easy to see. We're defining the agent. The agent's definition, it has 3 tools: a file search tool to go through all those Contoso pizza files that give you a little bit of information about each Contoso pizza store, the function tool we just talked about, and the MCP server. And when we actually create the agent, I just want to see. I'm sorry that I'm walking over it. The agent definition is here. Oh, it's right here. It's right in front of me. Create agent version using that project client from earlier. We basically say, look, here's the definition you want for the agent. And then we go into a loop. If you say exit, I'm just basically keeping a string of commands. We say the Pizzabot's ready. If you type something, we send it into the LLM. If you type one of the 2 exit commands, we say goodbye. And this is where some of the code happened to basically create the request to, what's the response from the user's message right here, create response. I found this terminology a little weird, but it's like I'm passing in this user input. I want you to create a response. I get it, what it's doing, but it felt a little odd at first to be like, I feel like I'm talking to you, but no, I'm creating a response.
Right.
If the response is asking you to call the function call, this is what this code's all about. If it's asking you to call the function tool, then we handle that here. So that might be a little weird if you've never seen this before, is the LLM and the agent are working together, and the agent says, hey, you know what? This user is asking for how much pizza to order. So I'm going to tell the agent, hey, my response is going to say, agent, can you call that function and then tell me what the answer was?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what this is. So the key about this particular Foundry agent for everybody is that it is both creating and running the agent. It's all in one piece of code. And like I said, this is up in GitHub. We have the link in the show notes. It's been pasted into the chat. Pizzabot is ready. Before I get the Pizzabot ready, I want to make sure that we open, this is provided by the workshop, we open this dashboard that they created, which the purpose of the dashboard is to prove that the MCP server was called and that it basically sent out an event saying, yep, pizza was ordered. But when we go to our little agent here, I can say, hi there. What kind of things can you do for me? I didn't even spell it right, but agents seem to be pretty good at figuring that out. I'm here to help you with anything related to ordering pizza. And it says, well, could you tell me my name and username? I say, sure. Let's go ahead and do that now. My name is Chris, and I'm not showing this here, but maybe we could show it. Is the website has a registration component. And I think what they're really doing is they're just taking a GUID to hang on to know kind of who you are. And so they're saying, like, look, here's a glimpse of our menu. It's got some pricing. This is coming from the MCP tool. This is not in the Contoso instruction files. But what we'll say is that I'd like to order from a store nearby Nashville, Tennessee. Can you suggest one? So it's going to go through, the file search tool is going to be activated here, I believe, and I think we'd see it ourselves. Oh, wait a second, that's interesting. Not a store in Nashville. I was hoping it would suggest one.
Yeah, you might want to ask, is there anything nearby Nashville?
Yeah.
Just ask it again, because I've been playing around with this, saw similar, hey, I'm out here in Philly. What's my closest store?
So when the first time I did that, it just picked up the Washington, D.C. one.
It gave me a choice. And it gave me a choice between New York and Washington when I did it. And that's the interesting part of this, of doing this chat interface, is that it's not deterministic. So each time you make some kind of a request, you can get a slightly different answer. And what it's,
all right,
to be aware of, because it's very different than what we do in classic development.
Okay, cool. It ignored the joke. Anybody in the comments that recognizes where that's from, let me know. So what's a store in the same time zone or the closest one overall? And it picked up the Milwaukee store, which there is a Contoso Milwaukee instructions. Not instructions, in our file search, in our vector store. So cool.
Okay.
So let's order from there. I'll take enough pizza to feed, let's say, 9 people who are very hungry because they just ran a 10K. And so I'm hoping now that it activates the pizza calculator, which our pizza calculator writes the console to show that it did. And it says you're going to need about 3 pizzas. Okay, great. Awesome. So let's order 3 pepperoni pizzas. Tell me how much that will be. And that the pricing comes from the MCP server tool.
Mm-hmm.
And let's do it.
Can you ask it when you can pick it up?
Okay, sure. When can I pick it up? Your order for 3 pizzas has been placed. The total costs $42. You can pick it up at 7:32 a.m. local time. Wow, they're going to be there. It's going to be done in 6 minutes. And the MCP tool was used. And then what that does is it goes ahead and activates this little dashboard. Like the dashboard, I want to be clear, isn't like, it's not part of agents. It's not part of the MCP tool, but I think it's a nice visual to show you that, okay, you hit the MCP tool and it did something on your behalf.
Right.
Like if you're using the GitHub MCP tool inside Visual Studio Code, right? It'll do something on your behalf.
Yeah. And if we have time, we can go in and show where those things happen. Okay.
Yeah, I absolutely think we can do that. So we showed this last time, and now people who are watching can see the code, the C# code that allows this to happen. But since then, and since we got it up on GitHub, I wanted to do what I'm going to classify as a little experiment here. This second project, which is available on GitHub, it's going to look really familiar, except there's a couple things interesting. Less configuration.
Okay.
There's no configuration for where the vector store is, where the MCP server URI is, what the model deployment name is. So the things you need to build the agent, to create the agent, to define it, they're not there. And I think the title's giving it away. It's because it's called use existing agent, right? So I know the agent name. I know the project endpoint. I create the project client. I say get agent instead of create agent. Use the existing agent with that name and that ID. And then we just drop right into the same conversation.
Right.
Now, we still have to handle the function tool calls because, as we said earlier, if the agent decides the local function tool call is required, it can't. I mean, that agent is somewhere else. It's got to respond to us and say, can you do this for me? And tell me what the answer is. Right. And so that does mean that even the existing agent must supply the pizza calculator. A future version of this will put pizza calculator in a library so that we're not duplicating code.
Okay.
But I think I was just more excited that this worked and said, hey, this is what we can show the next time we're on stream. Here we are. So it's the same exact code. All it really does is take your number of people and hungriness, I guess, appetite. Appetite's a better word.
Yes.
And it just decides whether the slices per pizza per person is 1, 4, and 2. I haven't bothered changing this in a while. I mean, man, that 12 slice pizza. So let's make it 8. That way a really hungry person eats half the pizza. But I can run this, okay? I'm going to get some slightly different answers now that I changed the pizza calculator in one spot. But this is using the existing agent. So what I like about this, and again, your own use case will vary, but you could have a pipeline that produces agents and then another path that gets your containers up and running that hosts them. People could argue with me in the comments about like you shouldn't do that or whatever, and that's fine. But for me, it's more about we have our options now. So, hi there. I am with 6 other people, and we all played basketball this morning. We are not very hungry though, because we aren't very good at it. How much pizza should we order? So light appetite, 7 people. I like how it figured that out with 6 other people.
Interesting.
I'm with 6 other people. We all played basketball. That's cool. I didn't even really think that far ahead.
Oh, I was dividing by 6.
Yeah. And because I said that there's 8 slices and a light appetite is 1 slice per, we only need 1 pizza. Astounded that we will get away with this with 1 pizza. But you're the expert. So let's order from a Contoso pizza store. What are my options down under in Australia? And we are being told that there is a Contoso pizza in Perth. They have the pepperoni option, a barbecue chook, bush tomato and feta special. Okay. And offers takeaway service. So yeah, let's order the pepperoni from there. Is that it? Or are we done? I have a feeling it's going to ask me for that user ID.
Yep.
Okay, cool. So yeah, here it is, bud. It's fun to just like, I'm always impressed at how like I throw in all this extraneous conversation and it's like, okay, $14. It's been ordered. And here we go. Basketball. I like how it picks a name for it too. 1 pizza on the way. So there we are. 2 uses of the 2 uses of Foundry, 1 with the existing agent, another with a where it creates the agent. So I would say you have the option now right out of our GitHub repo. If you've got a Foundry project set up, get the files vector store. Well, one of the things I'd like to do, and we'll probably do before the next show, is add back in the ability to upload the Contoso files. Mm-hmm. That's just not in this repo, but you can follow that along with the workshop for now. We did do that on another show, and we used the new .NET Run feature to do it all in a single file app. You were talking about looking at Foundry.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. Last time we were in here, we looked at the agent. And there's, by the way, I changed the name of the agent to Contoso Pizzabot. This was the agent that we used last week. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with it.
No.
But I said, like, let's start naming these. All the instructions are saved. The file search tool is saved. The MCP tool is saved. But what I was curious about was, is there a way that I can see the agent record in here to show me? I'm not 100% sure there is, and there could be, and I just might not know.
That's okay.
Or maybe it's in the YAML here. This actually might be it.
For
what I'm looking for is, we have an agent that defines 3 tools.
Oh.
But in Foundry, you only see 2. And so that led me incorrectly to think that we had to keep creating the agent definition to get that 3rd tool in.
Okay.
And that use existing agent wouldn't work. Then when it worked, I was like, oh, how?
Yeah.
But I think, okay, so this is I believe this is a tool definition, but I could be wrong.
No, you're right.
We got a model. We've got instructions. We've got our tools, file search, function, and MCP. And I think I understand why this is okay, because the agent doesn't have this code anyway.
Okay.
But it now it has been taught. Essentially what this is saying is, okay, agent, you got a vector store ID to look for knowledge in. You've got an MCP server to use some tools. What are the tools? I don't know. You're smart. you're going to call that MCP server, get a list of tools, and figure out that you can help with ordering pizza, figuring out menu prices. And it even says that when we ask.
Right.
And the last one is, oh, and by the way, you have a function tool that you can ask for to calculate the number of pizzas to order. So just because it's not surfaced here, and I'm going to bring this up. I don't know if the team working on the portal wants to surface it here. It's not going to be done yet. I don't know. It's not done yet. Maybe there's good reasons not to. I don't know. But I'm just going to give the little feedback that, like, I thought use existing agent wouldn't work.
Right.
But now I understand why it will.
Okay.
Because local function tools are part of the conversation. The agent can't call them directly. It basically, and we could probably even watch this happen, is it basically calls it. Now, you wanted to say, okay, so.
Go ahead and, I mean, if you want to run this, because then we can do ahead and see, well, where did it actually get the number of pizzas?
Okay. So what I want to do, we're in create Foundry agent. Let's go back to use existing agent.
Okay.
Which is the current project. And when we say create a response, which to me, this is the method that's kind of like, all right, go tell me what the agent thinks next. But it's based on the user's input, and that user input came from the console. So that ties all that together. If the response item is a function call, so I'm going to put a breakpoint there for now. So that way we can see the first one come back. We'll see the first one come back, and it won't be a function call. The response items come from create response. You can get one or more response output items. I believe this response item has some quick methods and properties where if you just want to get the text out of it, go for it, knock yourself out.
Yep.
And if you just want to, I think it has an implicit string conversion. But that's where we got some of our earlier issues where the citations were included, which aren't a bad thing. You might want to log that stuff. Anyways, Pizzabot's ready. Hi, Pizzabot. What is your name? So this should not trigger the function tool. I'm not even sure what it's going to say, but it's not. It shouldn't trigger the function tool, but it does.
There you go. We
did get our response back. There are only 2 response output items, and one of them is, hold on, let me get that back here. And then I want this one. Yes. It basically said, oh, okay. I know about the MCP tool definition, and then the response, and then I'm not 100% sure how easy it is to walk through here and find the response.
Content.
Maybe it's not that hard. Look at that. It wasn't that difficult. How can I assist you today? So that's what I expect to come out of here. And so it wasn't, it's got to go through both of them. I'm Contoso Pizzabot, here to help you with your pizza ordering needs. Okay, great. I am ordering for the office. We use a lot of mental energy, so we're normal level of hungry. How many pizzas do I need for the whole team of 15 people? This isn't going to be a 2 pizza team, I think.
No.
Now, we're here. I'm going to get rid of this breakpoint so that let's go and see how many output items we have. Oh, just 1, because it's asking for the function to be called. It gives you a call ID. That's important because this loop is going to say, with the response, it's going to say, hey, remember this call you made? Here's my answer. The function arguments are here. The function name to call is here. And it's just all here. So I'm going to remove the breakpoint so we don't have to watch that again. And now it's going to go through the process. Let's get this out of the way so we can see more of our screen. It's going to go through this process, and it's going to say, let's parse the function arguments, figure out what we want to call. Seems a little, there's other frameworks that I think are going to make this easier. This is definitely more of a lower level framework. But now, like, we know we're in charge of what we call. We know we want to call this. We made the decision to call it because the function name matched.
Yeah.
If I change this to something else, it wouldn't match anymore, and then we just skip over this. And when we get our answer from our own method that gives us an answer of 4, we are going to add that, create a function call output item. We're going to add that and then say the function called was true, just so that we get out of this loop.
Mm-hmm.
We get out of the loop. It's figuring it out, and it says you're going to need about 4 pizzas for your team of 15 people with a normal appetite, and we could go on from there.
Nice. Okay.
So that's neat to see how that all works, and that's in the use existing agent. So as we talked about a little bit earlier, we created the agent declaratively. You could have come in here and created the agent.
Right.
What I don't know is how would I add a function tool in without the declarative definitions? I simply don't know. Maybe
I was parsing through that yesterday, and that was why I asked the question, well, how did you do it?
Yeah.
Because I would have expected there to be an ability to do an Azure function, and I don't see that.
So I think I think we'll keep looking at, because I think I agree with you that one way to do this so that it's not calling your agent locally. Not calling your, I guess that's correct, right?
Well, I mean, so everything right now is you've got that agent isn't running in the playground per se. It's running locally.
Yes.
Now, if you were to go to the playground chat and do the same thing,
oh, interesting.
How would it respond?
That's this, right? Preview the agent.
Well,
how can I help you today?
It would work from here too. Yeah.
That I just clicked preview agent, so I think this is it, right? Contoso Pizzabot up here.
Yeah, but you could have also just gone back to the
oh, really?
How we started in the chat window.
Okay.
And if you see where it says YAML at the top, just make chat and then do this. Right. It's the same thing.
Hi there. I need to order pizza. So let me see if I can get through a quick order so we could just prove that this works.
Right.
I will try not to trigger the function tool.
Yeah,
my name is Chris, and the user ID. Let's see if I still have it in. I do. Yes, yeah, that's fine. Order 5 pepperoni and sausage pizzas. Let's do it. And it's going to say, looks like we have a pepperoni pizza. Oh, okay, sure. It's fine. Those are fine. We're in a hurry. Total $70. And I think what's going to happen is, here we go.
Right.
Okay, so we know that works. Your question, which I think is interesting, is
you
want to start over?
Yeah, in the upper right where it says a little thing with the plus in the middle. Down. It's the bubble with the plus. Yeah, new chat. Cool.
Hey there. I need to order pizza. I'll get hamburgers somewhere else. All right. It didn't take the bait on that one.
Nope.
And my name is Chris. Okay. Great. Well, what I really need is enough pizza for 7 people. So that's interesting.
Right.
It's like, okay, here's your response.
So, well,
output submitted. Okay, it's like, yeah, I don't know what to do with this.
Right. So if you put in a number of people,
do I put it here?
Yeah.
Oh, so I'm the function tool. All right. I'm the function tool. Okay, 7 people. We're gonna need like 4 pizzas. I'm sure.
Well, no, it's just
it was 7.
Yeah, I don't know why it's not taking those values from up above.
Well, the thing about it is, how do you return the answer? Isn't that the problem?
That might be because it doesn't know how to calculate it.
Oh boy.
Whoa.
What happened here? That's interesting. I didn't realize it was returning images.
Yeah.
That's cool though.
Very cool.
We just never, I wasn't filtering through the responses. So, okay. Sure, you'll need about 4 pizzas, but how?
7. That's 2 people per pizza. That seems like a lot.
I'm wondering where it came up with that. Like,
Yeah.
did the LLM just say like, okay, fine?
So we can take a look and
Oh,
see.
that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
So anyways, okay. This is probably what will be. So the traces was the next thing.
Yep.
Is this the conversation we're working on now? Yeah, I think so.
44. Yeah, it's in chronological order. Yeah.
What I really need is enough pizza for 7 people. So it tried calling the function.
Yeah.
It said it was completed. And this is what I ended up punching in myself.
Right.
Huh. Certainly not the way you want to go.
No.
But I thought it was neat that as long as I supply the function, I can use an existing agent.
Right, because when that function's not there,
right,
it complains about not knowing how to call the function.
Yeah. Here's what I think. I think this leads to some interesting opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
I have seen, although I haven't tried to do this yet in the documentation, that you can either have another agent serve as a tool.
Okay.
Or, and maybe this is saying the same thing. I think an Azure function can serve as a tool. And if the Azure function serves as a tool, then does that mean the whole thing is online? It's all cloud native, and all I got to do is write a simple console app to say use existing agent, and that's it.
Yes. Yeah. But if everything, and this is the weird part, in that everything you did in that console app, you could, as you saw, you could probably define in Microsoft Foundry by creating your own agent, uploading the docs manually, do the vector, all this, connect to the MCP server. All of those things could be done there, and it could just run in this cloud space. So that can Toasto Pizzabot that you created, except for the function call, which seems to, not completely do a calculation yet. Would be able to, we don't need to have that console app running, I guess is what it comes down to.
Okay.
Yeah, I went looking for it. It used to be there, so I'm not sure what happened.
Okay. Right. We'll have to look around because I know this agent-to-agent specification is new.
Mm-hmm.
Tools hosted on a model context protocol. So,
yeah.
Okay.
If you had an open API, so one of the other things it might be is that instead of it being code, it's an API, and you go, hey, there, here's the number of pizzas, here's the appetite enumeration. Tell me how many pizzas that is, and then you have the open API basically run code out there.
Okay. Well, right. We have not built this by hand in Foundry. Maybe that's okay. We know we have this code out here at the Pizzabot C# project, which is public. Yep, there. I just wanted to see the little lock go away. Front page is going to talk a little bit about things, hopefully to help you out. We are definitely using .NET 10 right now, and we're using the Azure CLI for authentication. But each of these folders also gives you a little bit of background on what's going on for create Foundry agent versus what is going on in use existing agents, an already provisioned agent in Foundry. And so, yeah, I don't know if the title of this show needs to say that a little bit more clearly, because let's see, we said we're creating and using. So I like this idea of already provisioned agents. I don't know. I might work with the show title, but
yeah. Yeah, and I know you mentioned about, going, I'm not sure, we're kind of up at the end. So I did this yesterday all in Microsoft Foundry. and it does everything except for the calculation, which I think if I asked it how many pizzas, it would go ahead and use the LLM to figure some metric out, an uncalculated metric, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, it all works. So you could
Right.
take that instructions file and drop it in the instructions. You could hook the tools up the same way by loading a data source and doing those things, and then connect to the MCP server. And you get the same YAML that you basically have on the output that you showed.
Yeah.
It doesn't have the calculation tool.
There is something I'm not doing in this project, and maybe I'll add it. People that are looking to go get it is, and it is in the workshop.
Okay.
But something that I've kind of neglected to go back and do is, I believe, in creating this agent definition, I think I can also do something like temperature. And the workshop defines a temperature and a top P.
And those are off the model. If you do to the little gear to the right of the model selector.
Oh, okay. So you could do it from there too.
Yeah.
I guess that makes sense. Like
but,
that.
I mean, so when you, in the code, when you define the model, I think there should also be properties there for temperature and top P as well.
Yeah, I was just trying to find what they chose. It wasn't here. I know I'm scrolling through code. That's got to be fun.
That's
but
okay.
I was just trying to.
Code's off screen.
Yeah. We'll find it next time, and or add it to.
Yeah.
I'll just add it to the repository. But to be fair, yeah, like it's even saying that I can add temperature here, or at least I thought I could. Yeah. And then what is it again? It's probably a float. Yeah.
It's a float, 0 to 1. 1 being,
I think it was like 0.7 or something. I think that's what they used in the.
Yeah, and that makes sense because the higher the closer to 1, the more creative it is, and the closer to 0, the more deterministic it is. You know, it doesn't vary in its percentages.
So I have to go look up what it was in the project, but that was something that I haven't done yet. And I remember, if you don't remember that, and I don't remember, to be completely fair, I don't remember if we were just offline or on the show.
Okay.
When I wanted to prove to myself that it was calling the pizza calculator function, and I hadn't come up with the incredibly easy idea of just having it right to the console.
Yeah.
So I made it always return 42.
Because that's always the answer.
Because that's the universal answer. And a first couple times, the LLM would even say, it would say like, oh, the number of pizzas you want is 42 because it's the ultimate answer. But then it's almost like it started to not believe me.
Yeah.
And it was just saying like, well, I don't know, 42 seems like a lot for 3 people. So maybe you should really only order 4. And I was like, whoa, what's going on here?
The model giving a little bit of that, because if you think about it, right? It's a word predictor. And if you say, hey, I've got 8 people, how many pizzas should I order? It probably would say 2 on average. So the fact that you have this other answer that's like way beyond what it is, it's like, well, I
don't know about this tool.
What's that?
It's almost like it says, I don't know about this tool. And then you start to wonder, maybe that's what some of these settings do, is lock things down a little bit and say, no, look, this is the authority, right? Or
right.
Those are the practical problems that I think will be interesting to try and solve. And that's what we'll do. We're going to keep working on this. Yeah. The next plan is get the MCP server going so that you can all see how to do that, and then get a website going, maybe using some of our favorite ASP.NET Core frameworks. And you'd have the whole sample running locally, which I think would be cool.
I think that'd be a good thing to show, because there's a lot of complexity here. And for those who might be new to generative AI, this is a good way to kind of break all that stuff down for you.
Yeah. All right. Well,
cool. Good job, Chris. Love it.
Waiting to see if the producer was ready to sign off. our assistant producer.
I think he's already checked out.
He's done. He's ready to go. Hopefully you're all ready to go and have a great Monday. And so yeah, Rich, have a good Monday.
You too.
And everybody, if you're on the US East Coast, maybe it's time for stand up, and have a good day. And we will see you all next time on the Dev Talk Show.